Remember, I made a video on why Olmo to Barcelona makes so much sense? And a lot of guys complained about, oh, well, we don't need Olmo, we don't, and how we forced Gundogan out. I mean, Laporta and the guys are desperate. Our situation does not allow us to do all of this. Nico Williams is worth a lot of money. And with the injuries that we have, Olmo to Barcelona made sense, and he kind of proved you wrong. Today, we're going to analyze the dude's debut because he was sensational. As always, do subscribe to the channel. We upload weekly Barcelona content. Let's start. At the start of the second half, Rayo defended with a front two, a 4-4-2, depending on how you look at it, where one would sit on Bernal and the other one would go and do the pressing, or they would do it the other way around, right? But we did see that Bernal started to drop into these areas right here, and that allowed Kunde to go up, and then one of Pedri and Dani Olmo could actually drop into these positions. And this is what made it so great about Olmo. He brought balance, right? Because even though Pedri dropped, we know how Pedri has most of the control and how calm he is on the ball. We had another player who was able to do that. So if we could find him, you now have two players that can really be good in transition for Barcelona. And the verticality killed Rayo Vallecano this way. Like previously mentioned, Olmo really brought balance to Barcelona so that Pedri can really focus on this left side and Olmo on this right side. If Pedri would drop in these areas, allowing Rafinha to come inside, which is he's more familiar with nowadays, Olmo could do the same for Lamine Yamal and Kunde. And like I said, Mr. Flick really wants Lamine and Rafinha to receive the balls up high in these half spaces, right? And also if Pedri would drop wherever he would drop to, right, and players follow him, Olmo had the intelligence to drop into these spaces to get onto the ball. So balance is the biggest thing that Dani Olmo really brought to this Barcelona team. And now you had kind of like two players with similar quality or higher quality that can operate in these number 10 and free 8 position, which is giving Barcelona another dimension at the moment. Like I said, the verticality was just destroying Rayo. Here we see that Olmo can also drop deep and dictate play from deep, right? Allowing Pedri to go higher, right? And the similar like with Pedri, if Pedri stays deeper to dictate the play, Olmo can go higher, right? So it's kind of like us having two Pedris because Pedri can control the game as well as Dani Olmo, right? So it's kind of like having Xavi and Iniesta, if that makes sense. And if Pedri drops, Olmo can find the space. The same if Olmo drops, Pedri can find the space. So it's really, this is what I talked about, balance. Also, whenever these players would drop into these areas, now you can have wingers that can invert, ultimately drawing the play narrow, and then you have fullbacks that can overlap in these areas. We actually have that now both ways. The same with Olmo. If he drops, Lamine can come in drawing these players narrow, and then you have the overlapping going on, right? And also these two players being so deep now, they can actually, now Barcelona has the quality on both wings to release the likes of Lamine Yamal and Rafinha, right? And with Olmo, we can actually now have Rafinha over on this left side, and we know how that when he presses, we are actually good. And also with the Gegen pressing, that it's just so much better with Olmo, right? Like I said, it's like having two Pedris, right? Ball control. And one thing that stands out about Olmo for me is the way that when he controls the play deeper, right? His press resistance, it's just remarkable, and the way that he's driving. And when he's deep, that allows Pedri to go up the pitch, right? So the same with Pedri. If Pedri is deeper, that allows Dani Olmo to go deeper. So these two players together is just going to create, it's just going to be incredible for us. The reason why I'm saying it feels like we have two Pedris now is because they are similar in characteristics, right? And Olmo also allowed Pedri now to be a central midfielder a little bit closer in a double pivot, right? Because Olmo is taking a lot of that creative responsibility off of Pedri. So Pedri don't need to be everywhere now anymore. He can focus on his half space and be positional, right? And take care. And the amount of times that Olmo and Pedri both are transitional players that can be good and twist and turn and also be press resistant. So to all of the Barca channels and influencers that cried online, yes, we didn't treat Gundogan good, but I mean, the board is in a situation, and I don't blame them. The guys are desperate, right? And this signing of Olmo actually means more to Pedri, meaning that Pedri doesn't have to be everywhere anymore, right? He doesn't have to be in any gap, or he doesn't have to be the only one to arrive late onto the box. I actually want to talk about both goals here, and I think these two goals actually had or have a lot more in common than we actually think. A lot of relationism here, right, between these two goals, because here you see that Pedri is driving up the pitch, right, and Olmo is staying a little bit deeper, and Pedri can of course drive, and for Olmo's presence is actually allowing Pedri, because if Olmo wasn't on the pitch, Pedri would have been the deeper one, and Pedri having the ball right now, that might have been Rafinha having the ball, right? So Pedri has the weight of the pass and the quality to pick out Rafinha in that area right over there. So he lays it off to Rafinha, and Rafinha stays wide, and therefore he gives it back to Pedri, right? If that was Ferran Torres, I don't think we score there. I don't think we score there. So Pedri then receives the ball in this space right here, and then we actually score the goal for Barcelona. So a lot of relation. And look at the goal from Dani Olmo. Now, if we look at Olmo's goal, you can see here in the half space you have Balde, whatever he was doing there, right? But look at how you have Lamine and Kunde in that area, and that is actually a triangle right over there, right? And then you can see Lamine is taking on his players, attacking the byline, right? And this can happen both ways now for Barcelona, actually. And Lamine get in the good area, or of course trying to score the goal. And this is what I was talking about, balance. What's Pedri doing on the left side with Rafinha, Olmo can do that with Lamine, right? Relationism is bringing to Barcelona, right? Olmo, of course, receives the ball then in this area. What a great turn this guy made here in order to shake off those defenders next to him, and he lays it off in the far left corner, which was a sensational strike for Dani Olmo, right? So great goal. But what do these two goals have in common? Now, what both of these two goals have in common is the fact that they came from the half space, or wide at least. They were crossed back by two free eights, right? And do not forget or underestimate the importance of Robert Lewandowski in this instance. He was the guy that was drawing a lot of players away from the center, which allowed Dani Olmo to receive the ball in this area right over here, and then he could actually finish it. The same with Pedri. Lewandowski was drawing the guys away from the center. So Barcelona is now going to be able to have balance and be a threat from both sides, because we have two great players that can control the game and has the quality to find players, and then we have wingers who have speed out wide. So my question is, do you think we still need Nico Williams? The one-on-one situation, if the verticality, because with the verticality we are going through the center most of the time anyway. So I want you to tell me, do we still need Nico Williams? So Flick didn't have to do much really, but I want you guys to think back in the first game of the season when Rafinha was like the number 10, and then we had Casado and Bernal, when we thought that Pedri's control was missing and how Pedri was coming to change the game. Now with Olmo, we have that times two. We have double the quality now, controlling the game and finding these passes. And that's pretty much what Olmo brings to this team, balance. As always, guys, please do subscribe to the channel. What do you think about Olmo's debut? Thank you very much. Subscribe as always. Thank you for watching.